Someone once said that at the beginning of a relationship, it's like saying to one another, roses are red, sky is blue, you're my sweetheart, I love you. And after spending sufficient time in the relationship, now it's like saying to one another, roses are dead, I am blue, you're a pain, I'll kill you. Now, jokes apart, what happens to that initial spark in a relationship? What happens to those romantic feelings of love? Of course, this is true not just for romantic relationships, but for any relationship where you live with someone. You spend a lot of time with someone. You interact with someone all the time. Basically, where you may be sharing both physical and emotional space on an ongoing basis. Are there many things that could be responsible for the inability to stand one another? One factor is constantly focusing on their dark side, constantly focusing on their negative side, constantly focusing on their faults, their flaws, their shortcomings. I once heard a very senior monk explain that people can be broadly classified in 5 categories. Number 1 are those people who just cannot, for heaven's sake, see the good in others. They only see the bad and in fact magnify the bad. I often say that we don't see people for who they are. We see them based on who we are. When you wear red colored glasses, you see everything to be red. And when you wear green colored glasses, you see everything to be green. Now, is everything red or green? No. Only you see it to be so. Don't we have the experience that if we love someone, we are unable to see the bad in them, and if we don't like someone, we are unable to see the good in them? Our vision is very subjective. No one is fully good or fully bad, guys. Each one has both sides in different proportions, of course. But some people just can't see the good. Maybe because they don't like the other person, or maybe because they're just hardwired and conditioned. Number 2, those people who are able to see both good and bad, but choose to neglect the good and focus on the bad. Now here's the answer. As time passes by and we see the other person in the relationship very closely, not only do we start seeing all the faults and flaws from a very close proximity, but also we are seeing it practically all the time. The negative side of the other person starts getting more prominent in our vision, and we start conveniently ignoring their bright side, thus leading to disliking them, disconnecting from them, distancing from them, or in an extreme case, even disowning them. And then number 3 are those people who see the good and the bad, but are neutral or may be even callous to both, possibly due to their self-absorption or indifference. Such people are in their own world, disconnected from others, and they just don't seem to care. They don't focus on the bad, but neither are they concerned about the good in the other person as well. Number 4 are those who see the good and the bad, but consciously choose to neglect the bad and focus on the good. This is the attitude in which relationships thrive. It's easy to catch someone on the wrong foot. What if we catch people doing right though? What if we condition ourselves to see the good? I'm not saying we shouldn't deal with the bad or we shouldn't deal with the wrong. If we don't address the wrong, we will be responsible for the other person to continue that wrong, and rather than being their well-wisher, we may end up becoming the enabler of their wrongdoings. I'm just saying, don't hover on their flaws. Deal with them. Focus your attention on the good, and then there is a possibility to revive that lost spark in the relationship again. Of course, there are extreme cases of abuse where there's nothing good that can be seen, and this principle of seeing good shouldn't be wrongly applied there. In cases like these, one may have to just move out of such a toxic relationship. And the last, number 5, are those people who cannot see the bad at all. They see the slightest good and magnify it. This stage can only be possible for God or for ones who have reached the heights of spiritual progress. To see only the good in someone's character or to magnify the slight good to the point where it overshadows their ills is a great feat, but one which is impractical for most all of us to follow. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us try to be a honeybee looking for nectar in a flower, even if it is lying in a pile of trash, rather than being a housefly looking for trash even in a garden full of the most beautiful, fragrant flowers. Isn't it so aptly said? Anyone can find the dirt in someone. Be the one that finds gold.